Banking customers in South Africa have been warned to be vigilant of the spiking bank fraud and to prevent becoming the victim of fraudsters. It's vital to be on guard, especially when using transactional card-based accounts linked to cheque and savings accounts. The Office of the Banking Ombudsman recently pointed out that these transactional accounts are among the most commonly used accounts, which means that they're prime targets for scammers. To discuss this issue, we're now joined by the Chief Information Officer at Old Mutual Finance, Vijay Naidoo. Vijay, thanks very much indeed for joining us and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Peter. Thanks for having me.
All right, so, we need to start very simply. What are transactional accounts?
So really, transactional accounts are banking accounts in which you can perform money-related transactions, do withdrawals, do payments, and do transfers.
All right, so this could be savings, this could be cheque, transmission accounts, that kind of thing.
That's right.
All right, so why are they particularly vulnerable?
So, look, Peter, the old adage is true when they say if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So we are seeing more and more scammers are posing as potential, your bank, making contact with potential customers and offering them rewards for clicking on a button which then exposes their account details, and they use that information really to access the account. Attackers are also looking at creating scenarios that prey on human emotions, and they create the sense of urgency or the sense of fear, and hoping that they can get hold of individuals' credit card numbers or passwords. And let's face it, nowadays banks have made available more and more channels to engage with them, and that's has really resulted in an increase in fraudulent activity, specific on these transactional banking accounts. In fact, globally, we've seen losses of $20 billion. And in South Africa, we've seen these losses tapering at 250 million rand annually. So, really a big problem and something that needs greater awareness.
When we talk about awareness, I get a sense that actually, at high school already, one of the subjects should be how to read bank statements and how to do banking, because the world is digital, everybody's going to be engaging, and most of the kids will probably be clicking into these bank accounts one way or another already. Because I get a sense, and maybe I'm wrong, but maybe we're just not fully aware of the things that go on that is normal, that is not normal when we are transacting.
Yeah, let me firstly say, Peter, that the safekeeping of customer data is a crucial responsibility for any financial institute. And the secure handling of this customer data is also part of the treating customer fairly standard that all companies must adhere to. But the one of the key pillars in stopping any type of these social engineering attacks is to educate oneself. And you rightly say, it should start even at high school level. And there's basic things we should educate ourselves about. If we receive an email from a bank, we should interrogate that address. We need to look carefully at the sites that we transact on. Is it a familiar site? Is it a secure site? Also, we need to keep in mind of basic rules. Rules such as your financial institute will never ask you for your password. So, it's really about being aware of these kind of things, educating oneself. But also, as I like to say, we also need to have this healthy level of suspicion when we transact and when we engage with our banking products.
I've had people try their luck with me. I get a phone call. First thing is, I don't know where they get my phone number from. And then they start saying to me, you've been identified and this is an opportunity for you. Can I get your email address, your phone number, all these details? Then suddenly, and if you're not aware and not thinking that why would they be asking me this, you will give over this information.
Exactly. I always say rather err on the side of caution. So if you get in a call and you suspect that something's not right, Joe, put down the phone. You can then call your service provider, and many service providers are making it now so easy to make contact with them. You can do it via their branch networks. You can do it via the app, and there's also features that's available now for people that suspect that there's some fraud happening on their accounts. You can switch your account on and off. And it's really the way banks are moving nowadays, about empowering their customers. So giving the customers that ability to make a decision whether they feel they've been a victim of fraud, and then to act quite decisively on it. So using the app to activate their card, or using the app to deactivate their card, for instance. And seamlessly being able to log a call or log a complaint regarding any fraudulent activity on their banking account.
What are the most common scams that are out there at the moment?
So I think many of our viewers would have heard of the phishing scam, which is really an email that's been sent to an unsuspecting victim. And if you click on the link in that email, it takes you to another a web page, and then it might solicit your credentials or certain confidential information. We've seen a growing number of another concept called phishing, which is essentially a hybrid of phishing, but this is done via a fraudster calling the suspect and acting as if they're calling you from the bank, for instance, and asking for your details. And really, this is where we say, err on the side of caution. If you have any suspicion that this is not someone from the bank, you should put the phone down and you dial the number. And then, like I said as well, just keep in mind, no bank or financial institute will ask you for your passwords or your login details. And that's the kind of things to keep in mind when engaging in these kind of products.
I've often, when I've gotten these phone calls, said, give me your phone number and I'll call you back. And then they disappear and I never hear from them again.
So you broke up a bit there.
I was just saying that often when I get these phone calls, I often just say to them, give me your name and number and I'll phone you back just now. And they often disappear very quickly.
Yes, a lot of these fraudsters are seeing, what can they get out of this phone call. And sometimes it's, we cast the net and we see which fish can bite. And sometimes it's just about confirming whether they've got the right person. If they do, they will proceed and try to fish more information from you.
All right. One last question. Have they sorted out this issue of these debit orders that are below a certain amount? I think it was 99 Rand at one stage. Suddenly you could see these debits appearing on your bank statement because it was too low a threshold for major checks to be done. Has that gone, or do we need to still be vigilant about small amounts suddenly appearing on our bank statements?
Yeah, look, I think we should be vigilant about all amounts appearing on our bank statements, the below 99 Rand and anything above that. So it's really just encouraging our customers to always interrogate their statements. If there's any queries, make sure you address this to your banking service provider, but do it through the approved channels, using the right numbers, or either going into your branch or via the app.
Vijay, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks very, very much indeed. I think we need to have to...
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we need to have these conversations more often. That was the Chief Information Officer at Old Mutual Finance, Vijay Naidoo.